Theodor Schwann was a famous scientist from Germany who lived in the 19th century. He was born in 1810 in a city called Neuss, which is in Germany. He grew up in a time when science was beginning to change how people understood the world. During his life, Schwann made several important discoveries, and he is most famous for his work in biology, especially in the field of cell theory. His discoveries changed how scientists think about living things, and they are still important today. As a child, Schwann was interested in many things, especially science. He went to school in several places, and he became a student at the University of Bonn, where he began his studies in science. He learned about animals, plants, and the natural world. He was especially interested in the idea of how things grow and develop. Schwann knew that science had many questions that needed to be answered, and he was determined to find answers. After finishing his studies, Schwann became a scientist and started working in different laboratories and universities. He worked with other scientists to study animals and plants. One of his most important jobs was studying the small parts of living things that could only be seen with a microscope. Schwann looked at animals under the microscope and began to notice something very important. Every animal is made up of tiny building blocks that are too small to see with the naked eye. These building blocks are called cells. The idea that living things are made up of cells was not new, but Schwann's work helped prove it. He worked with a scientist named Matthias Schleiden who studied plants. Schleiden had already found that plants are made up of cells. Schwann took this idea and studied animals. He discovered that animals, just like plants, are made up of cells. Together, Schwann and Schleiden created a new idea called the cell theory. This theory says that all living things, whether plants or animals, are made of cells, and that the cell is the smallest unit of life. Schwann's discovery of the cell was very important because it helped scientists understand how living things grow and develop. Before Schwann and Schleiden, no one understood that everything living is made of cells. They didn't know that all the different parts of a plant or an animal were made up of cells that work together. Schwann's work helped to explain how living things are put together and how they function. It also helped scientists understand that all cells have a job to do, and they work together to help an organism stay alive and healthy. Schwann's research didn't stop with his discovery about the cell. He spent many years studying how cells work. One of his other big discoveries was about how cells grow. He found that cells can grow bigger, and when they get too big, they divide into two new cells. This process is called cell division, and it is very important for growth and healing. For example, when we get hurt and our skin is cut, the cells in our skin divide to help heal the cut. Schwann helped scientists understand this process better, and it helped doctors understand how the body heals itself. In addition to studying cells, Schwann also looked at the nervous system. He was the first person to explain how nerves work in animals. He studied how nerve cells carry messages from the brain to the muscles, which is how we move and feel. This was a very important discovery because it helps scientists understand how animals and humans control their movements. Schwann's work also helped to explain how the brain sends signals to different parts of the body. This was another important piece of the puzzle in understanding how living things function. Schwann's work was important not only because of what he discovered but also because of the methods he used. He was very careful when he worked, and he used microscopes to study very small things. This was an important step in the development of modern biology, because it helped scientists see things that were too small to be seen with the naked eye. Schwann helped make the microscope a very useful tool in science, and many other scientists began to use microscopes to study cells and other small parts of living things. Schwann's discoveries were not only important for science, but they also helped improve medicine. By understanding how cells work, scientists could better understand diseases and how to treat them. For example, Schwann's work helped doctors understand how the body fights infections and how cells can be used to heal the body. His discoveries helped doctors create better treatments for many different diseases. Schwann's research also helped scientists understand how cells can change, which is important in the study of cancer. In cancer, cells grow and divide uncontrollably, so understanding how cells work is important in finding ways to treat cancer. Schwann continued his research for many years and made more important discoveries. He worked at different universities and became a professor, teaching other scientists and students. His work was very important for the development of modern biology and medicine. Many scientists today still use the ideas that Schwann helped create. His discoveries about the cell, how cells grow, and how the nervous system works are all important parts of modern science. Even though Schwann did not live in today's world, his work is still very important. Many of the things we know about biology, medicine, and health today are based on his discoveries. Schwann's research helped us understand that living things are made of cells, and that these cells work together to keep the body alive and healthy. Today, we know that cells are the building blocks of life. Schwann's ideas helped explain how living things grow, heal, and fight disease. Schwann's work also had an impact on technology. Because of his discoveries and the work of other scientists, we now have better tools to study cells. For example, modern microscopes are much more powerful than the ones Schwann used. These tools help scientists study even smaller parts of cells and understand them better. Today, scientists continue to use microscopes and other tools to learn more about how cells work and how they can help us fight diseases like cancer and infections. Even though Schwann lived a long time ago, his work is still part of what we know about biology today. He was a curious and hard-working scientist, and his discoveries helped shape how we think about the body and how it works. Schwann helped open the door for other scientists to make new discoveries, and he is remembered as one of the most important scientists in the history of biology. Schwann passed away in 1882, but his work lives on. The cell theory that he helped create is still one of the most important ideas in science. Today, scientists continue to build on Schwann's discoveries to learn more about how cells work and how they help keep living things healthy. Schwann's curiosity and hard work have helped scientists understand the world better, and his discoveries continue to inspire people in science all around the world.